G'day folks, welcome to my return to the GOSS series, my return to Wacht am Rhein, and I'm jumping back in with the second scenario. This is to save Bastogne. I'm going to read from the description here. This is a 2 to 3 hour scenario that is meant to be played tournament style, uses only one small section of the northeast map. You can see the perimeters of the map here, top left corner, bottom left corner, top right, bottom right, Bastogne right in the middle here. And the units of the 2nd Panzer Division, Panzer Lehr Division, elements of the 26th Volksgrenadier Division, and possibly the 5th Volksjäger Division against CCR 9th Armoured, CCB 10th Armoured, 2 engineering battalions, 3 corps level artillery units, and the entire 101st Airborne Division. So the historical background, the 47th Panzer Corps had just spent the previous 2 days crossing the River, which you can see, that's the Clove River. The River further to the east, and destroying the 110th Infantry Regiment of the 28th Division due to the gallant stand of the company-sized outpost along Skyline Drive, which is off camera to the right. You just can't see that. It's actually off the map as well. Von Ludwigs's Panzer Corps had fallen behind schedule. A last-ditch defence at Clervaux, which was to have been taken on the 16th, finally crumbled early on the morning of the 18th. Now at last it seemed the Panzers might break out into the open terrain on the Tail Plateau and resume the drive to the Meuse. Great, my poor puppy is jumping all over the books with a squeaky toy. But the Americans had not been idle. The CCR, the 9th Armoured Division, which was the 8th Corps Reserved, was busy setting up armoured roadblocks, and CCB of the 10th Armoured Division was on the move from south of Luxembourg City. The biggest reinforcement, however, was the 101st Airborne Division, which had been resting and refitting at Camp Murmelon near Reims, along with the 82nd Airborne Division. Both divisions were originally intended for action near Verbermont, but the 101st was hastily rerouted to its historic destiny. CCR 9th Armoured, who you can see set up here, was practically destroyed, and CCB 10th Armoured was roughly handled, but each brought enough time for the 3 parachute infantry regiments and the glider regiment of the 101st to emplace and protect Bastogne. Sticking to his strict timetable, Manteuffel could not divert the full resources needed to take Bastogne, so instead he divested it with the 26th Volksgrenadier Division and a detached Kampf group from Panzer Lehr. So, let's... the context here is I am relearning GOSS. I am starting from scratch. I feel like I've forgotten everything. So I've been rereading the rulebook, taking things very slow. You need to recognize in watching this that this is not going to be a foolproof playthrough. I am going to be making mistakes most certainly. Fortunately, these scenarios are very well designed for learning. So for example, this particular scenario has a consolidated sequence of play, which uses the mode determination phase, construction phase, movement phase, inactive player exploit phase, combat phase, active player exploit phase, and administration phase. Okay, so we don't have to worry about a lot of things. Let's check special rules as well. So this begins on the PM turn of the 18th of December and ends at the completion of the night game turn on the 20th of December. So roughly a little bit more than 48 hours of gameplay. Ground condition is normal. Atmospheric condition is OVR for all game turns. No air points available, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, I will point out also that the units you see here, we've got the setup units, and I've already kind of placed the Germans in their arrival hexes. That shouldn't be the case, right? They haven't technically arrived yet, but just sort of getting ready and seeing where they're coming on. Same with the 10th Armoured here. So we've got 10th Armoured, Panzer Lehr, we've got Von Fall, Haus and Hoch over here from the 2nd Panzer. And I haven't really checked the full reinforcement schedule. That's just for the first turn. Okay. There are no German units set up on the map. I've set up, our leaders aren't used in this scenario, or US units are in TAC mode. Okay, so for those of you who are new to GOSS, units can be multiple modes. TAC mode is basically the standard operating mode. It gives units kind of greatest flexibility in terms of balancing movement and potential combat, but certainly prepared assault is the best mode for kind of planned offensive operations. Okay, so we have US units arriving. They enter in TAC mode. Mech units may enter using mech road movement. And I've been checking the rules for mech road movement as well, and I've probably forgotten them all as well. My approach to GOSS is going to be push things around, check things frequently, and learn from mistakes. All right, so I recognise I'm going to make mistakes. I've read the mech rules, but until I actually implement those rules, until I actually conduct a mech road movement, those rules are a bit fluffy. There was very little, so for context, I did some videos on the first scenario, which was the fight for Kessenik, and it pretty much just used TAC movement and those prepared assaults. So very little, units basically moving 1 or 2 hexes each turn. Yes. Okay, there are also some other restrictions. Units cannot exit the play area. The German player must, with the exception that the German player must exit units off the playing area to secure victory points. I'll skip ahead because this is important. So for the Germans to win, they receive victory points for each Kampf group consisting of 5 units of any strength that exits the play area at any of the following hexes. They get +2 victory points for hex 1308. So this is row 13, so 1308. They can enter off the highway here at Urtheville. 1312 down here towards Amberloop. 1706, so that'd be up here at Ortho. Right, so if they can leave off the top here, those roads lead to La Roche and onto the Meuse up there. 1 victory point for any hex on the south edge of the playing area. Now this says that is east of the 22XX row. East of the 22XX, which would be this row here, east of that, they're saying. I think that's a typo. I think it means west, because otherwise they can just jump on, jump off. So this would be west of 22. Any hex that is west of that would make much more sense. So they can exit off here. They get 1 victory point per Kampf group. The German player only gains victory points for the south edge hexes if units of Kampf group on Porsche exit using those hexes. Okay, right, so it's a specific Kampf group that has to exit using those hexes. The US receives victory points for each hex of Bastogne not occupied by or adjacent to a German unit. Right, so each hex of Bastogne, there are 2, not occupied by or adjacent to a German unit. So if the Germans can get here or here or here, they deny the Americans that hex. So potentially 8 victory points for holding Bastogne, but the Germans just have to get adjacent to it. They lose a victory point if there are not 2 hybrid units of CCB 10th Armoured. If there are not 2 units that have not been eliminated. I'm confused by that, it's a double negative. If there are not 2 units, basically I think what it means is, as long as you've got 2 units, if there are not 2 units on the board, basically. So if you have 2 units of the CCB 10th Armoured on the board, surviving, that's fine. If you have lost 2, That's a really awkward way of expressing that. Build-up companies of those units cannot be used to avoid this penalty. No worries. Okay, so let's get into some of the movement restrictions. Units cannot exit the playing area. I've mentioned that. US units may not move east of the 34XX row, which is way off here. So this is their front line. They can't move any further than that. They can't move into or adjacent to 2917, which is down here where Von Fall is coming in. That's the actual hex, or 3317, which is again where House is coming in. No unit attached or assigned to the 101st Airborne Division may move further than 6 hexes from Bastogne. Now that's an interesting one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it's reinforcing the defence of Neuville and Foy. So they cannot move further than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so this kind of perimeter around here cannot move. They can move into Longvilly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but no further. No unit of the 101st can do that. No unit of either side can move into or adjacent to Hoffelays up here, so that's just not a consideration. Both players may construct fieldworks. Units may be attack mode, PA mode, and exploit mode. Now, exploit mode is really going to test me because it's the only thing that I haven't really utilised. So that's going to be a testing of my rules knowledge. Units may be placed in combat reserve, CR. Units cannot enter strat mode. Units may start the scenario or be broken down into build-up companies. However, see victory conditions. So it's advising against that. I thought about this and I just don't know what I would do. So in the first scenario, it's a good idea to break down your starting battalions to spread out your armour. In this scenario though, I don't know what the advantage of that is. I think I'm better off defending at strength with these full strength battalions, regiments, combat commands. Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to break anything down further. Try to just hold these positions. Standard stacking rules apply. Ignore all GOSS logistics rule, and this is a relief because I'm not ready for this yet. Neither side has AMP. That's good because I don't know what AMP is. The only logistic rules that apply are as follows. German ADV is 3. German ADV is 3. And I'm going to quickly check the glossary. And ADV is AD, ammunition depletion value. The numerical value shows the level of ammunition supply available to an army or corps. Corps ADV determines the maximum number of allowable ground assaults for each formation. An army corps ADV determines if an artillery unit becomes ammunition depleted or successfully replenishes. So that's going to be important for the German artillery. That's the other thing I'm worried about, German artillery, getting them in position. In the first scenario, it's like kind of like off-map abstracted artillery from memory. So German ADV is 3, US ADV is 7. Okay, all mech units operate with normal fuel except at the beginning of the German player turn on the 20th of December, the German player rolls a d10 and there is a fuel effect based on what they roll. A unit is in general supply if you can trace a path. So this is, again, a change to the normal rules. A unit is in general supply if you can trace a path of hexes of any length for the US to Bastogne or the west side of the playing area. So general supply, as long as I can trace a path of any hexes. There's a lot of liberties with the general supply rules here. For the Germans, any playing area hex on or east of the 29XX row. So again, very, very liberal with the supply rules. If units cannot trace the general supply mark, they're marked on-hand supply. If unit in on-hand supply conducts any actions as noted, the unit is marked out of supply. Not a problem. If the German player, sudden death victory, I missed this. If the German player can exit 5 units of any one Kampf group off the map at 1308, 1312 or 1706, they win the game. 5 units of any strength of one Kampf group. It's basically a full, 5 units is a full Kampf group pretty much, because I think most of those are 5 units. Let's have a quick look. 1, 2, 3, or five units. So basically, if you get a full Kampf group off the map at those locations I pointed to previously, the German player wins the game. Otherwise, it's whoever has the most victory points. Ooh, okay. Now, I have, in preparation for this, and I wanted to point out in this video at the start, it's taken me a while to get to this, but there are some amazing videos by several YouTubers, which has really helped. I've spent the week basically watching all these videos. There's Steve at LBW Strategy Gaming. He plays a lot of Vassal and he's got some great videos. He often plays versus Clay Stone, and he said in one of his videos, he's a slightly above average GOSS player, but he really knows his stuff and kind of explains everything he does really well. So it's great for learning. He's playing through much larger scenarios. Also plays through Atlantic Wall, which I've got just in front of me up here. And yeah, explains all his moves really well. It's really great for learning. A lot of what he deals with is kind of high complexity stuff, well beyond this scenario, but really good. Clay as well. So Clay Stone's YouTube channel, he does the same thing. Runs live on sort of few great live videos where he runs through both. I think he's done Wacht and Rhein and Atlantic Wall as well. Then there's Hexy, Hex to Hex. I was watching his videos on Hertzgen Forest. And again, he was learning. He's got a few good sort of a series of videos that introduce different concepts in the game. Plus, he also does his sort of game reports. And in those game reports in particular, it was really great to see what he was talking about what he was learning, things he was paying attention to. So check out that. The Tabletop's Edge also did a series of learning videos for GOSS. And I remember watching those when I first started learning. Again, I've been rewatching some of them during the week. That's the Tabletop's Edge. Adwolf did some good reports, and again, that's a high level of gameplay, but I found it really good to watch and just to get a sense of, in particular, what these titles look like once the situation is more developed. What else? I've been watching a lot, and I'm sure I've missed a couple of them, but if I've missed you, I apologise. Please post a link in the comments and I'll link it in the description below because they are really great learning resources. As I've said, I've been spending the last few days watching as much as I possibly could, and a combination of different videos. I find they're all really helpful. So that has helped me to some degree. And I'm really nervous about these opening moves. That's why it's taking me nearly 20 minutes to get started. Okay, let's get things underway. Okay. Pick up the system rules. I skim to the game turn sequence outline. Okay, joint weather phase, joint air allocation, joint logistics, blah, blah, blah. All right, we have the allied turn phase. Mode determination. All right, let's have a look also what we've got here because I do have engineers. There they are, armored engineers. This is a BU or build up company, I think it's called. I'm going to want them, and these guys back here, to be constructing from the first turn. That's priority number one. Building as much as I can those defensive works or field works. I can't understand the distinction just yet. FW or DW, defensive works, field works. Whew. Okay, mode determination phase. Determine the mode that each unit will be in for this game turn. I'm going to skip ahead to the unit modes section. So basically it's a choice of, for the Americans, it's tactical or prepared. Now, I cannot see why they would place themselves in PA mode. They use PA mode, so they'll move 1 or 2 hexes. They can't move further than this, so they can't actually engage in offensive operations against the Germans this turn. Again, these guys don't exist on the map yet. they must attack if adjacent to an enemy unit. That won't happen. So I think, and I need to think about where I'm going to move and defend. I've got the CCRs are numbered, so I've got 2 here, 3 here. I'm pretty sure 1 is under here. Some self-propelled artillery. Here they are, 1. So where am I going to place these units to block the Germans as they come on the board? Where's the best defensive position? I certainly think these guys are in a good place here on the highway. They will they stall the Germans? And is this, I'm talking to myself here, but is this a possible reason why I may want to break down these units into several steps? So let's have a look. This is a unit breakdown chart. And I just want to find, because this is a hybrid. Okay, so a hybrid company breaks down into a mechanized infantry and 2 AFV units. That particular, actually, sorry, apologies, these units will break down into an armoured infantry and an AFV. Okay. And I think they're only two-step units. So they have one step, 2-step, and then they're done, I think. Interesting. I've only just noticed that. Okay, so I could break them down. That would give me, the advantage of that is broader coverage of the front, because thinking about this from the German perspective, okay, let's say the Germans come on here, they can use, these are trails, they can just bypass that position using these trails. And in fact, they can swing all the way through here quite quickly. So with that in mind, going back to that earlier consideration about should I or should I not break these units down, I am thinking I will. The problem here is, here are all the breakdown units. There are so many of them, and every kind of counter has a different back, and they're all over the place. So I think that this unit here, for example, will break into an M4. It's an M4 silhouette, M4 unit, and then an armored infantry, mechanized infantry, mechanized infantry. Here it is, one of those. Now you can see here, I lose strength. I go from 8, 7, 12 down to 4 and 2. So I'm kind of losing 2 strength by breaking them down. The advantage of that is I've spread out a bit more. I feel like doing that, the units are going to get smashed. So basically these 2 units are going to replace this hybrid battalion, but they're roadblocks, and that's all they are. We know CCR is going to get smashed. How quick, I don't know. Looking at this comfort coming on here, self-propelled artillery, mechanized engineers, reconnaissance unit, 7, that's a strong reconnaissance unit, look at that, 792, armoured reconnaissance of course, a hybrid, a reduced, so they've taken a step, and a full strength. Now keep in mind that these comfort also, they're only maximum of 2 strengths as well. Okay, so as part of setup, I think I'm going to do this because I think I have to. Otherwise, I fear the Germans are just going to go round and leave these poor guys isolated. So they're coming off the map, and they will go there. Same thing is going to happen. Oh, will it? Okay, so here we go. Here's the breakdown unit. Now I already have, the reason I say or will it is because I already have the engineers, self-propelled artillery. This is 73rd 105, and an M18 company. Okay, so I what am I going to do? I could send the M18s up here if I keep the Sherman's M4s on the highway, move the infantry up. This is all sort of planning ahead about what I want to do, and I'm still kind of in the setup step. I can send the infantry up to the forest somewhere, maybe Hofelt up here, vantage point, rough terrain. I think that is. It's been a while, but I think that's rough. Send the M18s up here to help them defend that. The Shermans block the road down here. That's not a great defensive position. Just defending in the clear there. So maybe I pull right back to Buet. That's not a good position either. Let's have a look at the terrain charts and see what it does for my defense. So many considerations here. Terrain effects chart. It's huge. What hurts? What hurts? Woods, hedgerow, armor values halved. Forest bocage, same as woods. So getting into woods or forest would help. In clear terrain, heavy armor or AT bonus is increased to 15 dice roll modified bonus points. So, I mean, yes, we have some AT incorporated into those American units, but I anticipate the Germans will be much stronger. 6, 6, yeah, 5 and 3. So I think pulling back a little bit at least with CCR is the way to go. And these guys are going to have to pull out. I think they're going to just pull. Someone's going to have to come and pull around and... No, sorry, CCB 10th Armored is going to be arriving. They can deal with that Kampf group. They might just hold there because they're in wooded terrain. It's a key road. Might be ready just to hold there. I might actually keep these guys all together. In one formation, I mean. So where can the Germans go? They can follow this trail along here. This leads them towards Neuville. They could smash straight through. And they can weave their way around. So I definitely kind of want to pull back a little bit at least. Buret seems important. Reading through the rules, mech road movement, I'm pretty sure that trails count as roads for this purpose. So it's not quite clarified, but I think it's a case. So yes, I think the Germans can sort of weave along that dotted line sort of up here, which means I have to block it, basically. Decisions. Okay. Leaving them, reinforcements arriving. There's quite a strong block of reinforcements, so I'll just rely on them to fill any gaps. Okay, so that's my setup done. Okay, now mode determination. Tac mode, tac mode, tac mode. These guys are coming in, and tac mode. That is the mode determination phase done. Now, step 2 of 7. We get to the construction phase, and this is where I admit I'm very, very rusty. I did do some construction in Fight for Kessenich, but for the life of me I cannot remember it. So, section 17.3.0 of the book explains construction. Units must be in TAC mode and in general supply and not fatigued to perform construction. All right, so looking at here our engineers, they're in TAC mode. They don't need to be from the same formation to perform activities jointly. That's not going to be happening. I can't initiate construction during an ENA period. I don't know what an ENA period is, but I'm not worried about that. Okay, let's skip through. Bridge construction, not building a bridge. Heavy bridge units, not worry about that. Not demolishing a bridge, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm not preparing to demolish a bridge. Field works, here we go, 17.3.3. Engineer units may construct fieldworks to improve the defensive capabilities in a hex. The term fieldwork encompasses improved positions and entrenchments. So there you go, that addresses the question I was asking earlier. Whereas defensive works, DW, refers to forts, fort areas, and fieldworks. Okay, so defensive works covers everything, whereas fieldworks are specifically kind of constructed fieldworks made by engineers. Okay, so we're going to build an improved position. The type and number of unit steps determine the time required. 2 or more steps of a, let's check here first. 3 steps, 3 steps. Where are the engineers here? Come on guys, we'll throw you on top just so you're easy to see. A 1 step engineer. 1 engineering step is 1 game turn. 1 step of engineering, blah, blah, blah. 2 or more engineering steps complete the IP during the quick construction process. So these guys can do quick construction. They're going to take a game turn to build. Okay. Quick construction. Where is the quick construction? During the following quick construction segment, and then it's not following. Where is quick construction? Sorry. 2 or more engineering steps. Complete the improved position during the following quick construction segment. Oh, the following. Okay, so it follows the segment of the construction phase. No? Conduct construction. There's 2 segments. Construction segment and the demolition segment. First step is we flip all completed fieldworks to the completed sides, advance the construction of bridges, and start construction by placing fieldworks. If time of construction is greater than 1 game turn. Okay, interesting. I'm pretty sure there must be a little quick construction segment there that I've just missed. Where are the segments? Bridge, 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 fieldworks. Movement, halt, observation, defensive work construction, fortified areas, forts, sorry, a procedure. Okay, at the beginning of a construction phase, the active player may designate engineering units as road improvement crews. That's road improvement, sorry. I'm all over the place. Okay, where is the quick construction segment? Let's check the glossary. M and OP, there's no Q. Okay, so there's nothing in the glossary about quick construction. I'm going to assume that it's somewhere. In fact, you know what? I can quickly, because I've got a digital copy of the rulebook, and it's handily open. In fact, yep. So let me just get to the rules. Quick construction. During the quick construction phase, it happens at the end of the friendly movement phase. There we go. It's in 17.3.3. So construction of fieldworks can either occur during the construction phase or during the quick construction segment. All right, let's get our fieldworks out and get them ready. So, improved positions. They look like this. They have a little 1 on them, and I think I'll be building 3 of them. So, I am building fieldworks here. It is underway. I'm building, sorry, did I say fieldworks? Improved positions there, and I am building improved positions there. That will take a complete game turn. I believe this will be complete at the end, during the next construction segment, 1 full game turn. These will be complete in the quick construction segment of the current or pending movement phase. Let me just double check the movement phase. There is a combat segment, movement section, quick construction section. Complete eligible fieldwork constructions. Excellent, found it. It only took me a couple of minutes. Okay, so fieldworks are underway, pending completion. Underway will take a full turn. Geez, are they going to be smashed? Sorry, before they can get anything done? I don't know, but let's try and build something there. Why am I building these positions where they've set up? Because that's where they are. Yes, I'd love to build elsewhere, but that's where they start set up. That's where they're building. I'm assuming they're there for a reason. High command has a better sense of defensive operations than I do. That's what they're doing. That is the construction phase done. Step 2 complete out of 7. Now folks, now the bit I'm worried about. We move towards the movement phase. And something I love about GOSS is it breaks down the movement phase into types of movement. So you do strap movement first, and then other forms, which I can't remember. But first, so combat reserve designation. We can place combat reserve markers on eligible units. That's not happening. Then we conduct steps 1, 2, 3 in the order given below. First, we can place reinforcements. Boom, they've been placed. I believe, so this is, I'm using the 2020 version of the rules, by the way. Here you can see here, GOSS 2020 system rules. I got this from the GOSS website, but I went looking for it the other day and I couldn't find it. So I don't know if they've taken it off or if it's been moved, but yeah, this is a GOSS 2020 system rules that I'm using. Heavily revised from the rules as written in the box, which looks a bit like that. Nice black and white glossy. Okay, here we go. Movement, game turn, movement section, actually place reinforcements, conduct withdrawals, conduct emergency command changes. That's where basically experienced gamers say, oh, you cannot deal with this. We need to give someone else a command. Step 2, units in strap mode may move. That's not happening because there's no strap mode in this scenario. Step 3, declare and conduct coup de main attacks. That's really interesting. I was watching, who was I watching? I think it was Steve, LBW Strategy Gaming. He was talking about coup de main attempts across the Meuse River. I think that was his video. Really fascinating. So yeah, none of that happening in this scenario. Then I move units in TAC mode. Move units in the order given below. First of all, mech class units using mech class movement. All right. Let's move these guys first. Mech class units. These are my reinforcements coming on using mech class road movement. And I've literally just read this section and I read it many times, so I should know it, but of course I don't. In this scenario, it's pretty straightforward, I think, because there are no units in strap mode to block them. Yeah, it really shouldn't be too cumbersome. Just trying to find the section of the rulebook. Observation, delay markers, road movement. Here we go. Okay. Mech road movement. Move along roads. There's special stacking rules. They don't expend additional movement points when using a bridge to cross a stream. They expend movement points based on the type of road they're using. So again for this, I'm going to have to return to the terrain effects chart. Okay, and we are moving along. We're starting on a primary road, which gives us, using road movement, half a movement point. We're not going fast. It's really not going to be, we're not going to be pushing the limits of our movement allowance. I just want to make sure I get this understood correctly. So, Do I move straight up to Bra and try and defend there? Keep in mind the Germans aren't on the map yet, so I could potentially move right up and try to stop them early. I could kind of stop at that vantage point, go one, and then along their secondary road, it's one movement point, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How does that sound as an idea? Armoured cars, what are these good for? These are good for reconnaissance. They will help me inspect enemy stacks. Might keep those back for the time being. You'll notice as well, I'm not playing with Plexi because it's just such a small scenario. I was trying to minimize glare. Unfortunately, it takes place right on the crease. So there is a bit of glare from here, which I've been trying to minimize. Okay, CCB, the second unit. Where can they go? The Germans, they can weave through here. That's a bit problematic. I probably do want to send something up north. I don't know exactly where CCB went historically. I'm just looking at these little secondary road trails weaving up through here. I might put them here into that pending fortification in Warden. Okay, which then leaves the third unit. And I might move them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Longville. Okay, that now gives me my engineers, and where do they want to go for you? I think Noville, I'm not, okay, maybe up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to here. We'll try and hold that point across the stream in rough terrain on that secondary road. It might help. Okay. Artillery. Wow. Look, this is the first time I've ever dealt with an artillery unit. They are not mechanized. They are leg movement rates, so they don't move yet. We have our M18 company. We are going to move them up north as well, just to stack with these guys and prepare. They're getting there in advance. And the armoured cars, they're going to head up there as well to Russians. Actually, they'll try and go further. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5 now. Trails. Oops, sorry. Trails 1/1.5. Oh, it's clear. It's 1. One other is 1.5. So that's 1.5. So what was I say? 4.5, 6, 6, 7.5, 9. Let's hold that position there. Kind of a forward reconnaissance position. Probably just a minor roadblock. Slowing down the Germans if they choose this path. Maybe it'll test my overrun rules. All right. Next. So where were we? That was mech movement. I don't think I broke any of the mech road movement rules. I used the mech road movement rates. I did not exceed stacking by any length. Didn't cross any roads, so I don't have to worry about that. Did I cross any bridges that I didn't notice? These guys, they did cross a bridge here. They can cross, that's not a bridge. That's interesting. That is not a bridge there. I just went straight across there. Well, let's work this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. How much to cross that stream? A stream. I don't know. Can I not cross a stream if I'm using mech road movement? Bridges, movement stacking, non-road. I'm sure there's probably another way to get to that position. Maybe there's not. Using mech road movement. Do I have to use non? Do I have to use? I guess I probably. I mean, I think I can go in and out of this mech road movement. Right? Must move entirely. Okay. Units using mech road movement must begin in a hex containing a road. Must move entirely along a road through hex sides connected by a road. May treat clear terrain hexes as valid roads in dry conditions. Talks about intersections. There's no ford there. There's no bridge there. There's no ford there. Oh, bridges exist wherever any type of road crosses a stream, even if not marked on the map. That's very important. Marked as 7.10.2. So technically, any type of road has crossed the stream. It's just interesting because I was looking at this earlier. I was actually studying the bridges, and there are bridges quite clearly depicted. You see Vilts here. There's a bridge there. There's another bridge up there. So some bridges are depicted. I don't know why. That's probably something I'm missing about bridge demolition or whatever. Okay, so they've gone there, they've gone there, they've gone there. Now, was there anything else I was doing? Yes, these guys. I was planning to move the infantry, I believe. And this is mechanized. They've got mech road movement. What was the plan here for Hoffeld? I think they can't move further east, but they can kind of come around and go half, 1.5, because it's clear. No, yep, that's connected. Clear, 1.5, half, 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, following the trail, 7.5 to get into Hoffeld. That's probably not a good idea. And then these guys, maybe, okay, so let's reconsider. Because I don't want these guys defending out in the clear. I would like them to pull back to some kind of something that's just a clear area with nothing in it. And I feel like they'd be very vulnerable there. Does the town, the village rather, do these little villages provide any defensive benefit? A location and a village. It is observation covering terrain. It is, there's a little hex there, I don't know what that means. Artillery and adjacent to 2 steps of, I don't know what that means. Location and a village. Yep. It is definitely observation covering terrain. Armor, -1. Okay. Maybe a bit of a forward position here. I'm thinking maybe here and here. Let's try that. So let's move armor 1.5, 1.5. Actually, hold on. I don't know. I'm getting lost in this maze of roads. Let's test clear terrain. Let's see how well they defend in this clear terrain with a location. And we'll send these guys to here. All right, so we have something of a frontline defense. Something. Then I said I was going to move these guys to join the infantry. So they're going to go 1.5, 2.5, 4, 5.5, 7, 8.5. Okay, it's not a strong position, but is it even needed? Yeah, those M18s add some AT defense. Now, I do have my self-propelled artillery here. I do not want to leave them there. I've got a strong unit there, engineers there. I might pull these back. They're foot, so let's do that in a moment. Right, that's all mech road movement. Now I can get to the foot movement, and I've got 2 units of artillery. All right, so let's go along the road. And again, there are benefits for foot units following a road. I remember reading about it, but I've forgotten about it. Something like a bonus movement point, I think. Roads. It's 1 for legs. Look, I'll figure that later, but I don't think it's going to be moving too far. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's keep this artillery down here in this area. And let's move this artillery. Thinking there, keep them with the armor for now in Longville. I don't really know much about using artillery, as I said, so this is probably not a good idea. Just look at the unit type chart to see. Okay, their range factor is in the top right superscript. So they have a range, so these guys have a range factor of 5. So being in Longville, they can reach out along here, cover the southern flank as well. These guys might be in trouble, but we know that already. Whew, okay, and with that done, I think we're at the end of the movement phase. I don't think there's any more movement to go. You should see all these sheets I've got set up, it's a mess. Let's see, American movement phase. Of course, the final step in an American movement phase is the quick construction phase. Hey, look at that, my first field works. Very nice. Oops. Is that correct? So I'm already kind of thinking I wish I would have moved the engineers and put them somewhere else, because the next movement phase, they can improve that again, I suppose. And I do have engineers up here now. So that's good, right? All right, that's the movement phase. Now the inactive player exploit phase, nothing to do there. Combat phase, nothing to do. Active player exploit phase, nothing to do. Administration phase, no idea. Administration phase, let's double check any administration I need to do. Administration phase, air resupply, supply determination, ammo replenishment, fatigue recovery, and delay marker removal. We are done, folks. That is the first US turn of To Save Bastogne. I'll wrap it up here. I'm going to... The Germans will be coming on. and they'll be wanting to attack promptly. So I'm going to reread the combat rules very carefully. Yeah. What else? I think that's it. Look, learning. Hopefully I haven't made any mistakes. Please point out if you've seen anything. And again, if I've missed any, I mentioned a couple of videos. I'll try and link to some of these channels in the description, but if I've missed anything, please let me know and I can edit the description. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and take care.